Eddie Stewart's got the third. Stewart's putting a stormer in. Our commentator, my rival,
yes,
is running through now in third. So after the last race, we went backwards. Obviously, he's found what the problem was, and now he's going forwards again.
Well, his mum Laura was telling me he hit the barrier quite hard, and I think it maybe dented his confidence a bit. And we didn't see the Eddie Stewart who we know in that previous first heat. Now he looks like he's gotten back on song, didn't he?
Yeah, you're 11 years old. You forget the disaster in an hour, don't you?
I did send Laura away with, how old is Eddie? She said 11. I said, well, slap him on the head and tell him to get a grip.
Yeah.
So she's obviously slapped him on the head and told him he's gotten a grip.
They can't have a long-term issue with fear, can they?
No.
So it's right on the tail. That's the double blue against the blue and white. Double blue 45 white helmet. That is Eddie Stewart, who you will hear later doing a commentary with Joe. And he's tracking really closely Dan Parsons now. Parsons goes out very wide, lit up to a little bit of driving now up the inside. Will go Stewart for a relatively simple pass along. He just catches the second part of the apex, which he does, and he made that look very, very easy, but that was helped a little bit by Parsons going too wide, coming out of oblivion.
And Parsons now wanting to come back perhaps at Eddie Stewart into Parker and then into Chapman. Stewart will want to eke away. Behind Parsons is Lucy Lovell in the 16. Lucy not that far away.
It's good because Lucy had a very poor first heat. She was rocked. I think something had happened. You know,
poor start,
12 seconds behind everybody. But I think it must have been an early. See whether Eddie could put in his what I do on my last lap mental thing you asked him about.
Yeah, I did.
He's under intense pressure actually. He'll come back together again.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. So we'll see just how composed our colleague is. Eddie Stewart in the 45 onto the back straight up towards Christmas Corner. Eddie completely aware of who's behind him and runs down the inside on the right hand side of the track to defend that inside line into Inkermans, using all the curb there pretty much, and down the inside of Lucy Lovell. Had a look, didn't he? Andrew Dixon had a look down the inside into Ashby, didn't come off. Sonny Morgan already into the boot as the chasers continue on the back straight towards the boot. And there's Lovell down the inside of Daniel Parsons. She's almost going to lose out. It's going to be all the way around the outside. 3-4 wide. And Lovell absolutely lost out there. But Daniel Parsons
even more
finds himself all of a sudden from third place down to sixth.
That's not on his way.
Incredible. So Sonny Morgan took the checkered flag and took the win. Eddie Stewart with a composed final lap to Eddie Stewart. You can't discount young Eddie. He's there. And they had that kart really, really sorted, didn't they, in the third heat? He came from the back of the field and came through and back up to second. So they really know how to set that kart up in the wet.
Yeah, I mean, it was a late decision to go into wet for these guys. So they've had a chance, an hour and a half or so, to think about setting. So everyone should be at least onto whatever their
Eddie
wet
Stewart will recover and try to regain those places. He's proved earlier on that he can do that and come from the back. But he's got it all to do again.
Who's right behind them and gaining?
Eddie Stewart. He's coming, the comeback kid, Eddie Stewart.
That was 4.5 seconds to the hit between him and the leader, and now it's 1.7.
Wow. If anything, Eddie Stewart's got enough time to get up back on terms. These two still together.
That was the fastest lap by anyone in the race, 104.5. And now these two are slowing each other up. But Eddie Stewart is the coming lad, not the coming man. They're not becoming men, they're coming lads.
Well, let's see where it is, Nick. As they cross the line, it was 1.4 seconds. It's still 1.4. Sorry. It was 1.4. It's 1 second.
Yep.
It's come down from 4 seconds. So Corking pulling a bit of a cushion away and sort of eking out that cushion from Basterfield. And very soon, Basterfield is going to have to now Eddie Stewart. Looking very racy indeed. Right on the bumper of Basterfield, down the hill to Ashby's, and down the inside. He's gone for the challenge. They're side by side, using all the curb. And Eddie Stewart, he's moved ahead of Basterfield. And great driving from both of these drivers. They could have easily have gotten too anxious and too intense, but they didn't. I don't think they even touched in any way, shape or form there.
Very clean pass.
So very
by Stewart.
treacherous out there though. So I'm not going to say too much about that. Eddie Stewart, once again, the comeback kid. That's what we're going to call Eddie. Because he spun out in the third heat and made his way back through to second. And he spun out in this, the final, and he's made his way back again through the field and is currently second. And if anything, closing the gap.
Is driver of the day, and the man who needs to award that is right next to me. It's
right. My driver of the day is young Eddie Stewart. Not because we've got a corner named after him. That's named after Sir Jackie. It was because of an absolutely composed drive in the final there. The way Eddie composed himself, hung on to that position. I think he came third, didn't he? I think he got a podium. Yeah. So Eddie Stewart for me was the driver of the day in the Minimax.
So in
the Minimax category.
So he will win an Alfano 6, is it? Super stuff. Thanks, guys.